Yo, what's up, Freeman High School? My name is Rwenshaun Miller, and I'm the founder and executive director of Eustress Inc., which is a nonprofit to raise mental health awareness in the community, and we're based out of Charlotte, North Carolina. But I'm also a licensed therapist, and I come to you all today as a mental health advocate and wanted to just share something for you all for your Freeman Wellness Wednesdays. I know it's an asynchronous day for you all, so it's something y'all have to tune into, and it may be something that you may not necessarily always want to talk about. But this is a very important topic to me, but then also it's something for you because I understand that you all are going through a very tough time in your life. Not even just with the pandemic and everything that's going on, but as a high school student, man, there's so much stuff going on. So I wanted to touch on a couple of things that I wanted to bring to your attention. Some of the things that you probably are already aware of, but then also being able to flip that and be able to, address some of your own issues that you're actually dealing with. So for me, I come from a lens of being a therapist, but then also with lived experience. So I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder back in 2006. I was doing my sophomore year of college. But it was something that terrified me because when I was you all's age in high school, not even gonna lie, I was the man. I played three sports. I played basketball, football, and ran track. I was all state in track and all region in football, and ended up actually getting an academic scholarship to the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, and walked on to the football team and the track team there. So I had the skills to perform on the field and also the track, but then also I was pretty good at the books. And like I said, I'm from a very small town in rural North Carolina and Bertie County. And and being from a small town, everybody boasts you up. So me dealing with the issue of living with bipolar disorder was something that was scary for me because it wasn't something that we talked about a lot, especially not in my home, but then also not in my community. But then also, I didn't know what that meant for me. I didn't know that I can continue to be Rwenshaun and still live with bipolar disorder because I had this sense of self where I felt like, only crazy people dealt with mental health issues. And to that point, I also hate that word now because it keeps us from talking about just the issues that we all may be going through at some point in time. But that's the perception that I had. And from that perception, man, it kept me from talking about my issues. It landed me into the psychiatric ward, which I received my diagnosis. But one of the things for me, the reason why I ended up in the psychiatric ward, because I had people that were paying attention to me. And one of the main things was my mother. She could just notice something different just in my voice. And she said if I wasn't going to talk to her, she was going to take me somewhere where I would get help. And they literally drugged me to the hospital. And once I got there, I ended up punching the nurse. And that landed me in some restraints. But then it subdued me. But then also I got to the point where I was able to talk about the issues that I had going on. I went through a period where I didn't sleep for 2 weeks. I lost about 25 pounds over a matter of 6 weeks because I wasn't eating. And I didn't feel like being bothered with my friends. I didn't feel like being bothered with my family. And one of the major things for me, I started hearing voices at this particular time. So that was something that was very scary for me. Not only was it scary, but because it was scary for the fact that I didn't understand what I was going through. But then also it was scary for the fact because I didn't want to tell people what I was going to because I was afraid they were going to judge me. I was afraid that they would treat me as an outcast. I was afraid they was going to talk about me. They were going to bully me. They were going to be doing all of these different things. And so I kept it to myself. Even after I went to the hospital and received my diagnosis and I started therapy and I started medication and I got better, I still kept it to myself for 7 years. But during those 7 years, it was a constant struggle for me. And with that constant struggle, man, to be honest with you all, man, I attempted suicide 3 times. And during those three suicide attempts, especially on that last one, man, I felt like I was the lowest of the low. That was the very lowest point of my life because a lot of times we think about with issues with people where, when you attempt suicide as weak or as selfish. But for me, it was something that it was it was something that I felt like it would help people around me because they wouldn't have to worry about me anymore. And then also I wanted to stop that emotional pain. And with that being said, man, I on that last attempt, and I wasn't successful with it. I realized that I needed to get the help that I need. I started back therapy. I started back taking my meds. I started taking care of myself in those periods. But then also, as I started to take care of myself, I started to just notice stuff in my friends. Like, y'all are high school students. Y'all see the world. Y'all are exposed to a lot of different things. So just looking at my friend group, I had a friend that was, smoking a lot. Before, I actually started, I was drinking a lot. So those were things that I tried to self-medicate myself to drown my problems out with. But, and he was smoking to drown out his problems, but it wasn't working. But for me to have a conversation with him, to tell him all of the things that I had been dealing with over those 7 years, really opened his eyes. But then also it freed me to be able to start to talk about this issue a lot more. But then also allowed me to help my friend get help. And because I never want anybody to experience the things that I went through from the aspect of suicide. I know life happens. I get that. But we also have to get to the point where we're able to ask for help and figure out who those supports are. And so those are some things that, are very important, especially for this transition in your life as you all are high school students. Some of you all are about to graduate and transition, whether that be to work or the military or college or wherever you're about to do. Some of you all started high school and as remote students and during a pandemic, which is also tough within itself. Some of you all are missing your friends. And some of y'all are stuck at home with your parents and they getting on your nerves. I get it. It's so many things that you have to deal with at this particular point, especially when it comes down to dealing with life. But, one of the major things I wanted to harp on you all during this Wellness Wednesday is I want you to know that you're not alone in this fight. I want you to know that you can reach out to help and whenever you need it, and don't try to feel like you have to put on this facade with everybody. Because I know, in high school, you wear a lot of different masks and you try to live up to certain different things, whether, peer pressure or, you try to be the cool person or you try to fit into certain groups or whatever that may be, understanding that I've been there. I know that. and not saying there's something wrong with it, but I also want to let you all know that if you're dealing with something that you need help with, please, especially when it comes down to mental health, because you are, nothing if you're not mentally well. And that goes into a lot of different aspects to be mentally well. It's not just, going to see a therapist because it's not just taking medication. It's also taking care of your physical well-being. It's also watching what you eat. It's watching what you consume. Also just the people and how you talk to yourself and you allow people to talk to you. I know bullying is a major thing. That you all have to deal with. When I was in high school, we didn't have social media, so we didn't have to deal with, if somebody's in your class and they're recording something and they post it on the internet and the entire world has to live with it, but see it. But I know that's something that you all deal with. So with that being said, I want to challenge you all to take care of your mental health, and do so by finding somebody that you can lean on to be able to express those feelings and emotions, and don't just rely on your friends, because sometimes they may not have the most sound advice. Not saying the intent is not good and well, but they may not have the tools to be able to help you out through certain situations. I know for me, I was scared to talk to my friends about those things. I was scared to talk to anybody about them. But then also I want to challenge you all to, if you notice something in your friend, you notice something's a little off, check in on them. And don't be afraid to point them in the right direction to get the help, whether that be with a teacher, whether that be with some parents or some adults, or even the guidance counselors or the school counselor, making sure that you tap them into those resources as well. My shirt right here says check on your strong friend, and it has strong marked out. I say that because a lot of times I know what it's like to be that strong friend. So and I know what it's like to you take on everybody's problems and issues, and some of you all are not even just taking on your friends' problems and issues. You may be taking on family members' problems and issues, and so you have to check in on those folks too, because they may be struggling at some point too. And sometimes you have to just create that door for them to be open and honest to share what they have going on, or sometimes they may need somebody to lean on and somebody to help them through something. So making sure that you do that as well. So with all of that being said, I know it's kind of short, but I wanted to, definitely tap in. Hopefully next year I'll be able to come in person and really we can really dig deep into this mental health stuff, especially for you all as students. But the main thing I wanted to tell you all is make sure you take care of your own mental health, and do whatever things you need to do for your own means of self-care. But then also, and that may be various of things. But then also understanding that you're not alone in this, and you can find ways and find people that you can actually talk to. There are plenty of resources out here. But then also understanding that there are a lot of people going through a lot of things, and we're scared to talk about those things. But once you start to share your story, you'll be amazed at the community and the support system that you're able to find. But then on top of that, the last thing I wanted, make sure you check in on your friends, period. And not just your family members and everybody. All of that is included into friends. So making sure that you check in on them and pay attention to the signs. And direct them to help whenever they need it, because sometimes they may not see what you see from outside. They may think they're able to push forward and everything, but you notice something different. So be sure to check in on them. Also, I'm gonna give your teachers a worksheet so that you all can start to just think about different questions, so that you all can start addressing your own mental health issues, or addressing however you address your mental health. It also has my contact info up there as well, and I look forward to maybe seeing you all next year. I know y'all about to transition in the summer. I hope y'all have a great summer, especially as things start to get a little bit more lax and you can get outside and enjoy yourself. Please enjoy yourself in some form of capacity, but do it safely. Again, my name is Rwenshaun Miller. I'm the founder and executive director of Eustress Inc. Here with you all for you all Freedom Wellness Wednesday, and I look forward to talking to y'all soon. Peace.